Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this guide for Robin, I'll be giving you her best relic, light cones, team comp, rotations, pros and cons, and whether you should pull for her. You can sit back and relax. Do leave a like and subscribe, it helps a ton. Do note that her kit is subject to changes. Basic ATK deals physical DMG equal to 100% of Robin's ATK to a single enemy. Skill increases DMG dealt by all allies by 50%, lasting for 3 turns. This duration decreases by 1 at the start of Robin's turn. Talent increases all allies crit DMG by 20%. Also, after allies attack enemy targets, Robin additionally regenerates 2 energy for herself. Ultimate, Robin enters the Concerto state, increasing all allies ATK by 22.8% plus 200 of Robin's ATK, causing all allies except Robin to immediately take action. After every attack by allies, Robin deals additional physical DMG equal to 120% of her ATK one time. The crit rate for this damage is set at 100% and crit DMG is set at 150%. While in the Concerto state, Robin is immune to crowd control debuffs and cannot take a turn or action before the Concerto state ends. A Concerto countdown appears on the action order bar. When the countdown's turn begins, Robin exits the Concerto state and immediately takes action. The countdown has its own fixed SPD of 90. These are the mechanics for Robin's ultimate. Pause if needed. Trace 1. When this character's current HP percentage is 50% or lower, additionally restores HP equal to 2% of the character's max HP when their talent is triggered. Trace 2. While in the Concerto state, all allies crit DMG dealt when launching follow-up attacks increases by 10%. Trace 3. When the battle begins, this character's action is advanced forward by 25%. Technique. Creates a dimension around the character that lasts for 15 seconds. Enemies within this dimension will not attack Robin and will follow Robin while the dimension is active. After entering battle while the dimension is active, Robin additionally regenerates 5 energy at the start of each wave. Only one dimension created by allies can exist at the same time. For her Eidolons, E1, when Robin is in the Concerto state, all allies who use a basic ATK, skill, or ultimate will gain 1 stack of ornament. Units with ornament increase their SPD by 15%. Stacking up to 2 stacks, and the multiplier of the additional physical DMG dealt by Robin after this ally attacks increases by 72%. E2. Additionally increase the talent's crit DMG boost effect by 20% and energy regeneration effect by 1 energy, 6.4% DPS boost. E4. When Robin uses her ultimate, dispels crowd control debuffs from all allies and increases the effect res of all allies by 50% while Robin is in the Concerto state. E6. While Robin is in the Concerto state, all allies all-type res pen increases by 20%. Further, the crit DMG of the first 6 triggered additional DMG instances increases by 200%. The trigger count resets after the ultimate is used. For her best price to performance ratio, E0 is ideal. It's a little tricky as we will be getting a free S5 4-star Lightcone for Robin. If you must pull, I do recommend units which benefit from high speed or FUA teams to get her E1. Since it's really easy to get way more attacks and the 30% speed boost can help you to easily hit hyperspeed for FUA units, which means even more attacks and energy regen. For non-FUA teams, her signature Lightcone may be better due to the extra energy regen source and the damage buff will come in handy. But we also do have the 3-star Messing Cogs. Both are honestly tied with each where certain units may prefer her E1 or signature Lightcone instead. Though personally, I'm just sticking with E0. Here are her required materials and skill priority. Overall, she provides attack, damage boost, crit damage, extra DPS from 100k to 200k plus. Depending on how frequent your units attack, and her action forward is pretty broken and useful for most team comps. How to build Robin. For the body you want attack percent. For the boots, you want speed only. You may also run attack percent boots and look for more speed substats. Now for the substat priority. Speed till your desired breakpoints. As much attack percent and lastly defensive stats. Here are her ideal stats. It's best to have at least 3.5k attack for Robin, as she's able to provide more DPS compared to Ruan Mei's extra weakness break damage. For the speed break points. Honestly, with 156 or 160 speed, with her action forward trace and Von Whack, she's able to take 3 turns at 0 cycle, but is it really needed? Not really. I do feel that she's totally fine with 134 or 143 speed, but of course if you can hit higher speed breakpoints it will help with both skill points and ultimate uptime, but it's way harder to build. Though with FUA teams going for 134 speed and focusing more on attack percent substat will not lose out to hyperspeed, as you're able to increase your team DPS overall due to way more attacks. Players should not get stressed out about Robin's stats. Now, how to build your units with E1 Robin. Your units with 134 speed are going to get 2 turns in the 0th cycle. To make full use of the speed boost without sacrificing any offensive stats for speed, I recommend players to run 4-piece messenger set no matter what. Here's the calculation without the 4-piece messenger set, using Topaz as an example. Robin at first turn equals to 15% and second ulti at 30% speed. For instance, to get 2 turns in the first cycle, you need 144 speed for Topaz or 141 speed to get 2 turns in the second cycle instead. However, this is mainly for min-maxers, as it's not worth sacrificing your god-tier relic set pieces for higher speed with bad offensive stats, since you're already able to clear any content with a full limited 5-star team comp. Regarding her relic set, you can run any 2+2 sets. With messenger, it's easier to hit hyperspeed on Robin, but do not slap on the 4-piece messenger set if you don't have her at E1. You can also run 4-piece musketeer or physical set, but for 4-piece champion, even though it gives the highest DPS output, it's certainly not a set that players would want to farm, as it's better to just farm for your DPS relics instead. Overall, it's totally up to every player's individual preference. I would even recommend rainbow sets as long as you're able to hit your desired stats for Robin. And now for the planar ornament, main stat, for the rope energy region, and for the orb go for attack percent. Other main stats for the orb are possible, but only if you have triple S tier stats with speed and attack percent. Robin has a ton of planar ornament sets that she can use. Space Station is decent due to the 24% attack. Fleet of the Ageless not only boosts other allies but Robin's own attack too, especially when FUA teams lack attack percent multipliers. Broken Keel is also decent, but hitting that 30% effect res is a slight struggle for Robin. For Von Whack, I only recommend this Relic Set bonus if you have 156 speed on Robin for 3 turns in the first cycle, but it's not recommended unless you really need that extra skill point for some reason. Overall, all Relic Sets have barely any difference. Players should slap on whichever set bonus that can benefit your team. Now for her Lightcones, at last place. It's both Chorus and Carve the Moon at S5. Chorus is great as it buffs all teammates, which means Robin too. Carve the Moon is pretty RNG, though both of these Lightcones fall behind heavily to the free S5 event Lightcone that we are getting for Robin. At third place it's Meshing Cogs S5. Pretty much the best in slot, as the energy bonus does help to hit ulti breakpoints with team comps that have lesser attacks. Unless if you're running Huo, it's better to pick her second best option. At second place it's the event Lightcone, Tomorrow's Journey. Pretty sure Star Rail is going to give this for free. At S5 increases the wearer's ATK by 32%. When wearer uses their ultimate, increases their damage dealt by 30%, lasting for 1 turn. Which is pretty neat with a 100% uptime buff. It might look pretty bad, but if Robin additional attack buff deals more damage, your overall team DPS will be higher too. At first place it's Robin's signature Lightcone. The wearer gains 1 stack of Cantillation every time any ally attacks. Each stack increases the wearer's energy regeneration rate by 3%, up to 5 stacks. When using ultimate, removes Cantillation and gains Cadenza, which increases the wearer's attack by 48% and all allies' damage dealt by 24%, lasting for 1 turn. Overall, the damage dealt buff is only during Robin's ultimate, which makes it pretty underwhelming, but it can still offer some pretty decent DPS. Overall, her signature Lightcone is a combined version of Meshing Cogs and Tomorrow's Journey. Now for Robin versus Ruan Mei. Without factoring Robin's benediction attack during her ultimate state, and do note that I'm not calculating extra ultimate uptime for DPS units. It's a 50% DMG plus 20 to 30% crit DMG versus 64% DMG boost plus 10% SPD. Players should not pay too much attention to the numbers, as there may be other factors that can change the DPS numbers. For Jingliu, I'm comparing her with Bronya since she has 20 to 30% more DPS compared to Sparkle. As you can see, there is quite a huge difference, as Ruan Mei has that 25% res pen. But with Robin ultimate to action forward, in a 3-cycle difference Robin tops out by 20.8%. But would it help you to clear one cycle faster? It may, but it's not guaranteed. Ruan Mei has the 10% speed bonus at a 100% uptime, which is a must for teams where hitting that 156 or 160 speed is crucial. Now, which is better? If you have all your units at 160 speed and you're able to minimize the attack percent trade-off, which is not possible for F2P players. For example, you don't have Black Swan Sig LC. Robin can be better than Ruan Mei by 15% overall at the third cycle. But I don't see a point to pull for Robin if you have Ruan Mei already, where that 15% diff will most likely not help you to clear your MOC runs one cycle faster, and generally team struggles with having a good survivability sustain unit, where you need Ruan Mei's break and delay action. I haven't factored in Robin Benediction ATK, which gives 10 to 20k attack, which is at minimum 300k DPS output. Overall, I do feel that Robin is a slight upgrade compared to Ruan Mei even outside of FUA teams due to more turns, meaning more ulti uptime, and with the right setup for units you may be able to clear one cycle faster compared to Ruan Mei. And now for her team comp and rotations. For FUA teams, slow Robin is totally fine due to the number of attacks that FUA units are able to output, though hyperspeed will also work fine. Aventurine or Huo would be the best. Aventurine will be the slightly better option as his ulti crit damage debuff can apply to Robin. For her standard hyper carry team comp, this is how it's going to roughly look like. With team comps that don't have a ton of attacks, you either want Huo or run her with messing cogs. For Jingliu with Bronya, it may be better to just go with 156 or 160 speed Bronya. For boothill, it's totally fine for him to be at 145 speed. For Talia and Bronya of Sparkle, 143 speed. Since boothill does way more DPS if he goes twice instead of getting the max output buffs from supports. Robin also synergies really well with an E0 Acheron too. For those of you who do not have Sparkle, with Jiaoqiu, a new Nihility sustain unit in the future and another debuffer, you're going to be able to apply debuffs at a way more consistent pace. For Robin, pros and cons. Pros: triple S tier, universal, totally viable outside of FUA teams, even for teams. F2P friendly, SP positive, good design, she's equal or better than Ruan Mei. Robin concerto resets during a new wave. Great for all contents, pure fiction or MOC. Cons: may have SP issues if you need to use her skill to get her ulti up in time. Not autoplay friendly, which is honestly her only downfall. Welcome to my war RRRRRLLLLLLDDDDDDD. So should you pull for Robin? If you don't need her? No. If you don't have Ruan Mei? Yes. If you have no limited 5-star supports at all? Yes. If you're running FUA teams? Yes, definitely. If you like her design? Yes. For her ranking, I would give her a 9.5 out of 10. Even outside of FUA team, she's able to perform really well. Honestly, I do feel that Hoyo is pushing out way too many good units in 2.0, where units from 1.0 are starting to take a hit. Do let me know your thoughts down below for Robin, and if you're pulling for her. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, it really helps out a ton. And that's it for this guide.